The variation in abortion laws in Britain and the Isle of Man. An abortion is described by the Oxford English Dictionary as the deliberate termination of a human pregnancy, which is most often performed during the first 28 weeks. Boland and Katzai, 2008, highlight that women around the world seek abortions for similar reasons, but their ability to terminate a pregnancy legally varies dramatically depending on where they live. For example, in Britain, under the 1967 Abortion Act, women can access abortion services for up to 24 weeks, with the services provided free of charge by the government and available close to home. While in the Isle of Man, the 1995 Termination of Pregnancy Act can result in providers facing criminal sanctions for offering such services. This is supported by Vannin 2017, who states that anyone who is found guilty of aborting a child in the Isle of Man is liable to face up to 2 years in prison. The 1995 Termination of Pregnancy Act only permits abortions in a limited number of instances, making it a human rights issue. The Department of Health and Social Care 2017 state that it is the surgeon who will terminate the pregnancy, along with an independent medical practitioner, who have to agree that the continuance of the pregnancy involves a substantial risk to the woman's life greater than would termination. Whether the termination is necessary to prevent grave permanent injury to the physical or mental health of the woman, and if the termination is necessary in order to preserve the life of the woman. It is only under these grounds that terminations can be carried out without time limit. However, if the pregnancy has exceeded 24 weeks, then the surgeon is required to undertake the procedure in the manner that is most likely to preserve the life of the child. The impact that the 1995 Termination of Pregnancy Act has on Manx women who are not put at risk physically or mentally is resulting in at least 40 women per year having to travel to Britain to undergo the abortion procedure legally. However, there are many obstacles that they still face. These include financial barriers for those that cannot afford to pay for flights and the abortion procedure, social stigma due to the lack of discussion as a result of the illegality of abortion, and also personal trauma of having to face the abortion procedure away from family and friends at such a difficult time. These detrimental effects were evident in a news report by Derbyshire 2017, who highlighted the ordeal of a Manx teenager who found herself pregnant at 16, and how she had to travel to Merseyside in order to have a termination. This resulted in severe pain and her drifting in and out of consciousness at Liverpool Airport when the abortion began, as she waited for her flight home. Despite the fact that she had paid for this procedure, her health was still put at risk as a result of having to terminate her pregnancy away from the safety of her own home or in a safe medical environment. Therefore, it is not surprising that where abortion is legally restricted, women are more likely to resort to untrained providers or undergo the procedure in unsanitary conditions. Maternal mortality related to unsafe abortion, therefore, is generally high where abortion is severely restricted. The World Health Organization support this through highlighting that over 20 million of the 42 million abortions performed every year are illegal and unsafe. In every country, it is young, rural and low-income women who bear the most suffering from unsafe abortions. These women are often already mothers, struggling to support the children that they already have. With no safe options, women try to abort using sharp instruments or unsafe chemicals, or they seek help from people with no medical training. As a result, a woman dies of an unsafe abortion every 10 minutes. That is around 47,000 women every year. There are many campaign groups pushing for the modernisation of abortion laws, one of which being CALM, the Campaign for Abortion Law Modernisation, which is situated within the Isle of Man. They are campaigning for the equal access to abortion, as it is believed that abortion rights are human rights and no woman should be forced to continue with an unwanted pregnancy or have to travel in order to terminate it because her government refuses to enshrine her right to a choice. Cook et al. 1999 highlights that safe and dignified access to abortion services is an important part of human rights and the right to reproductive health and self-determination. This is supported by CEDAW, which is the Committee on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, which works in line with the Human Rights Committee to uphold equality. As a result, CEDAW describe high rates of maternal mortality caused by clandestine abortions as violation of women's right to life, and have recommended that governments review punitive measures and ensure women's timely lawful access to emergency care. The preamble to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that recognition of the inherent dignity and of the equal and inalienable rights of all members of the human family is the foundation of freedom, justice and peace in the world. Here, therefore, support a right to choice, with Article 1 of the Declaration also referring to all human beings as being free and equal in dignity and rights. Along with this, Article 2 also states that everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in the UDHR, without distinction of any kind. Therefore, it can be argued that by not giving women the right to choose what to do with their body goes against their rights as a human. Derbyshire 2017 supports women's right to choice through a young Manx woman's plea that women aren't looking at their growing uterus in anger and aborting a fetus out of malice. Instead, they are making a choice for themselves, their quality of life. Every woman's choice to abort is as valid as the next. Some women cannot afford, some women are too young, and some women simply do not want children, all of which are valid as it is their choice with what to do with a cluster of cells growing inside of them. Yet on the other hand, the HERE campaign states that from conception, the unborn child is always undeniably a new individual human being, which continues the ongoing debate regarding the mother's right to freedom of choice or an unborn child's right to life. The main difference between the UK and Manx law is that in the UK, the women's actual or reasonably foreseeable future environment can be taken into account, and therefore a choice can be made with the unborn child's best interests at heart.